9 p.m. all across the country. Groups like us meet to hear presentations about folks' entrepreneurial journey. Today is the STEM Lab. I should have pronounced his name before I started. Gaurav will be our presenter. I'm going to backtrack. I want to say that because I saw the slide come up. But this is a room of encouragement. Please, phones on vibrate or silence. These presentations aren't designed to sell. They're not designed to pitch for business. What they're designed for is to share with you how a person got to the point they're at. They talk about their business, and we're going to ask questions about their business. But this is a room where entrepreneurs should be able to come and say, hey, I don't have all the answers. And we should be, as an audience, going, we don't have all the answers either, so let's just talk it out. I'm sorry, my name's not important anyway, because I ain't going to be up here much longer. So we have the STEM Lab, Future Ready. Say it for me one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are we allowed to videotape?
Oh, yes. We do have video going.
Go to my phone.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Videoing is fine. Sharing on social media. Inviting folks. The goal is to get this room filled back up because there's no fee. There's no membership fee. There's no attendance. Well, we take attendance just to let them know we're here. But there's no requirements other than you be a business of 5 years or less to present. We're going to do some learning sessions, which we always do. We also do the Made It. When was the last time we did a Made It session?
It's been a while.
Our Made It sessions are former presenters who've at least, have done better. I'm not going to put a money price or money requirement on there. So if you're a past presenter and you're doing well and you want to come back and do this, we invite you to. But let's, without further ado,
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here this morning. So, as Derek was saying, I'm going to be talking about my entrepreneurial journey today. So I'm the founder of the STEM Lab. If you don't know what STEM stands for, it's science, technology, engineering, and math. Go to the next one. So my journey kind of started when I moved to the U.S. I want to say about 23 years ago to do my master's in electrical engineering. Right after my graduation, I started working as an engineer. I worked for several tech companies, telecom companies for about 14-ish years. And right about that time, I was kind of getting way too comfortable with my job. I wanted something more. I didn't think I was feeling that satisfied, and I started looking for other opportunities, but opportunities were still kind of the same job, similar outcomes. So that's where I started kind of exploring different avenues, and right around that time I decided to do an MBA. Got my MBA, but that didn't really get me anything. That just got me a promotion. That still wasn't satisfying what I wanted to do. So I started exploring different businesses. I started looking into franchises. I looked in several different franchises, things that we can kind of get into. Now, if you do MBA, it doesn't really teach you much about business. It teaches you about management. It doesn't teach you how to run a business, how to start a business. So to start a business, it was a blank slate for me. So I started looking at franchises, and right around that time, my daughter was in kindergarten, and I started getting involved in kind of teaching her things, and having a tech background, I was kind of surprised that kids were not really getting exposure, even though she was in kindergarten. I was still kind of surprised that they were not getting any kind of exposure to things that are happening in the world these days. They were still doing things that I was doing 30 years ago. So I wanted to kind of see what we can do about that. Is there an opportunity where I can do something in the field of education? Now, I have no background in education, never been a teacher, never been trained as a teacher. So we started kind of working with a franchise in the beginning, but worked with them for a few years. It didn't, I wanted to do a lot more than what as a franchise they were providing, so that's where we started the STEM Lab. So my goal with the STEM Lab was I wanted to bring more cutting edge programs, more future ready programs that the kids will kind of get exposed to when they go into their careers much earlier in their experiences. So I started learning things. I started learning what things we can teach, how we can teach. We started hiring people who are curious, who are as curious as anybody else about learning, but they don't have to have a teaching background, but as long as they're open to learning, we wanted to make sure that they come and join our team. So what we do is like I said, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math, and we teach STEM-based concepts to elementary and middle school kids. So in the beginning, when I got into this, like I said, I had no experience in teaching. I had no experience as a trained educator. Neither I had any experience with school districts. My first child was just in kindergarten at that time. So I got into talking to schools, school administrators, and try to learn about if we were to kind of propose to them, if we were to do this or that, what is your thought on it? How would you see it getting implemented? How would you change our approach to this? So initially we got an opportunity to partner with a few Richland 2 schools and started offering programs. Of course, as we were going through it, we learned how we teach, how kids learn, what are the expectations from the kids, what are the expectations from the parents, and we always were kind of modifying. We're still learning. We haven't stopped learning that process. Every day we learn something new. We make changes to how we are delivering the content, what kind of content we're delivering. But we started, and very soon we were in COVID era. COVID kind of, everybody knows what COVID did to education. Everything came to a halt. So 2.5 years in COVID, we started again. This time, we decided to kind of take not exactly a different approach, but kind of add to what we were trying to do. So we opened a innovation hub. Now before we were partnering with schools and going to schools, delivering after school programs and summer camps and stuff. So this time we decided to open a center of our own. We called it the Innovation Hub. And that's where we started doing more advanced programs than what we were doing in schools. So this is where we started offering programs like rocket engineering, artificial intelligence, machine learning, biomedical engineering, several more programs as well. But we are always, we have a group of instructors. Like I said, we wanted to hire somebody who are curious, people who are curious about learning. They may not have teaching background, but as long as they're open to learning, because we have a lot of things that we teach, so we want to bring a lot of people who are open to learning different things. So we got a team of curious people who wanted to deliver these kind of concepts, who We all kind of joke about it. We all are a group of geeks, and we are always kind of bouncing things off of each other, trying to learn new things, teach new things, and it has been going great so far. So what we want, where do we see the STEM lab going is, we wanted to open, of course, right now we have one innovation hub. We would like to get to more innovation hubs, so potentially open several within Columbia and outside of Columbia as well. We want to continue increasing our partnerships with several school districts. So far, we have been dominant in Richland 2 School District. We have partnerships with several private schools now, charter schools. We have worked with homeschool co-ops. So any kid who wants to learn, we are there. We wanna just teach. Now, because we are not traditional educators, we are kind of learning as we go. So we want to make sure we want to challenge the kids. So when they come to our program, all these programs that I talked about, like artificial intelligence, machine learning, rocket engineering, we're teaching all these programs to elementary school kids. So we wanted to bring the things that kids learn in high school or college, we wanted to bring it down and get them to learn at a very early age. They may not learn 100% of it, but we want to make sure that they start to kind of get exposed to the concepts behind all of these things. So we want to open more innovation hubs. We want to increase the number of schools and school districts that we partner with. We also want to work with local businesses. We would like to have some scholarships for underrepresented communities. So if local businesses, we would love to work with them, open sponsorships for kids as well, for summer camps, after school, evening programs, whichever way we can get these programs to the kids. And of course, our main goal is we want to continue to innovate our programs. We want to continue learning what is happening in the world, what is happening in the world of technology and science, and we want to keep learning on how we can bring it to the kids at a much earlier level in their life. I think that's about it. Yes.
Do you have anything for the weekends?
Weekends, we don't have anything for the weekends, but we've had it where schools or school districts would reach out to us, and if they want to set up certain classes for the weekend, we can do that.
Or what's your income model? Are you getting contracts with the school districts? And are these federal budget cuts going to affect you, or are they affecting you right now?
So far, most of our income comes from parents directly. I can say 2024 was the year with the least income from contracts from schools. So our the contract income has been going down, and the income from the parents directly has been going up. So I don't know if the federal cuts is gonna really hurt us that much, just because our customer base is mostly parents. But we are always trying to get to the schools and try to have them kind of think about how they can use the funding. That may be the model that may get affected. Yes.
Do you have anything after school?
Yes, we have several after-school programs with, like I was saying, Richland 2 schools, mostly Richland 2 schools. But we have the Innovation Hub is where we do programs in the evening, like 5 to 7 every day. I say every day, Monday to Friday.
Yeah, when you go into school and talk to the students, you probably talk about the basic subjects, mathematics, science, history, but do you also talk to them about entertainment, sports, and other things like that?
Good question. So sports is, everybody who works at the STEM lab, sports is not our strong suit.
Yeah, but it's a lot of money if you're good at it.
I know, that's something that we have kind of talked about. There is I kind of started looking into, again, being a geek, I started looking into how we can include STEM into basketball. So we have looked into that, but to answer your question, we do not talk about much about sports and entertainment just because we don't have really that background. That being said, a lot of kids that come to us, they don't care about sports. They are like, we don't want sports. Just get us into technology. But that is something that we have looked into, and that's something that is on my radar to somehow combine STEM with sports and see how we can get kids to learn both the things.
But what about the entertainment? You know, a lot of schools, kids are into theater and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, so we haven't done any kind of entertainment yet. The closest we got at that, I don't think that you would consider that entertainment, but the closest we got was a debate club. We have done that in the past. We are open to trying new things. I mean, anything that anybody can suggest. We want to look into how we can kind of marry that with the STEM portion of our programs and.
Okay, we got Chef Judy, then the young lady up front, then the ma'am right here, then the gentleman over here.
Well, I love STEM because I think it's the new innovation that have been for a while.
Thank
We just kind of learned about it. Even with being a chef, we have STEM with cooking. So that's very interesting how to marry. So it is a way to marry different, professions with STEM. But where is your hub located? And what is normally what is the time frame of a segment, and how much does that cost?
So our hub is in Elgin on Spear Street Road. It's, if you know where Pontiac Elementary School is, it's right behind Pontiac Elementary School.
Okay.
So our programs there, the weekly programs that we do are Monday to Friday, and it's for different age groups, 6 to 15 years old. We have 4 different programs. STEM beginner is for 6 to 8, STEM sophomore is 8 to 10, then STEM junior is for 10 to 12, and STEM senior is for 12 plus. The cost is $120 per month, and then we have summer camps that we do during summer. Those are Monday to Friday, 9 to 3, with option for extended care and stuff like that. Extended care, early care. Those are $250 per week, $250 per week.
Okay, awesome.
So question and requirement statement. The statement for the science and math, at least when it comes to sports, you can definitely put that together, trajectory when you're trying to do the basketball, speed, distance, and everything. And someone like me, I always kind of do math with everything I'm doing, so that'd be great. It'll help encourage them to be more athletic instead of the video games.
Absolutely.
Try to do that with my kid. And the question, I'm not going to go back to that question.
Okay. No, but yeah, that you're right. There's a lot of math portion in sports. We even looked at you all know Nerf guns, right?
Yes.
The Nerf guns that kids play with. So we also looked in a program where we can use Nerf guns to teach about trajectory and the force, how calculating based on the trajectory and force, where we would land and all that stuff as well. We have so much things to teach, so we gotta just figure out how do we kind of put it all together to get them to teach them.
So my kid's not in Richmond too. So would he still be able to be in like the after school programs?
Yeah, so the programs that we do at the Innovation Hub, they are open to everybody, whoever wants to come there. We have homeschoolers that come here. We have kids from Kershaw County, Richmond 1 County, Richmond 2 County, county, school districts. So anybody can come and learn. We just want people curious about learning.
Two questions. First one, who's your competitors in the area?
So our competitor, I think, would be Ideology, and they used to be. I'm not sure if they still are. There's another company, Unlimited Hands-on Science, but I don't know if they're still in business. Those are the main competitors that I can think of.
Okay. And when you go and pitch into the school districts for contract, are you seeing where if you're getting turned down, you know, maybe what the reason is the school is turning you down? Is it just based on funding or?
I think it's 100% of the time it's funding. Yeah, it's always funding. Because anytime I talk to the principals or assistant principals, they're very excited about bringing these programs to the kids. But it's always the funding that kind of comes in the way.
Yes, sir.
As far as the innovation hubs go, are you looking to expand that due to current capacity constraints, or do you want more of like a geographical reach?
More of geographical reach, because we kind of understand if you lay out Colombia, we're in the one corner of Colombia, we're not covering all of Colombia. And we've had parents who have asked us if we can open locations other places as well. The issue is the rents are not cheap, the rents are really, really high. So we are open to partnering with organizations or church who are open to giving us space in their building, lease it out to us, and that way we can expand to more places as well.
And I guess you kind of dance around a little bit. Expanding your outreach, have you considered distance learning? That's something the military use almost globally, where you're sitting like almost in a studio, but your concept is the exact same thing. You have much greater reach, and your funding is not as stretched as what you would have to go to a physical building and pay. So have you considered that at all?
Yeah, we have. During COVID time, we did use online teaching. Of course, it wasn't. We did get a lot of students enrolled, not as many as we would in person. Since COVID, we didn't stop it, but we still do online education. We have some kids in California who are part of our online education programs. But we haven't been putting a lot of stress on that lately. Now, there are several reasons for that. The main reason is when you're doing outreach kind of open to everyone, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of competition, and reaching out to a smaller community, the marketing tools, the marketing budget you can kind of maintain, but when you're reaching out where you want to be visible to, let's say even if we pick just the US, if you pick just the US, just kind of getting your name out, getting people to know you, that is a lot of marketing. At least that's what we found out, that becomes a really hard process.
I think you consciously have to control your growth. And I think first I'm going to start with, it's a nightmare to do children online instructions. It is a nightmare. Mainly because what we found coming out of COVID was that these kids were not learning as much, not advancing as far. Although they were getting taught, there's something about physically being in the location that helps. I'm just going to say this you hit the nail on the head about the cost of marketing for a small market versus doing it for a national, even just for a region. You've got to pay for that. You've got to get the message out. What a lot of small businesses don't get right is handling how fast you grow. Everybody wants to open up everything everywhere, and what that does is it dilutes your business. You can't manage it the way you need to manage it. You know, how many restaurants do you know that have had one location and the food is amazing, and they open up 2 or 3 more and they're crap? That's because it's not as easy as people think to duplicate or replicate what you're doing now in one location. So I'm going to employ you to control your growth. You know, that magic you have, yeah, you're way out. You're way out there. I say way out. I live out towards there, and it's still way out from where I live.
Yes.
But think about how you've got to figure out what you're doing now that works in that location, and find somebody who can actually structure it where you can duplicate it when you move to another location, because that's what people are going to be expecting. They're going to be expecting the same level of quality and education and fun and engagement, and you hire folks over here and they're not as curious, or whatever. You call them curious, and I love that word. And they're not as engaged or as curious. You've got a problem. So work that balance, and growth is both a benefit and a curse. Sometimes you grow too fast. Sometimes you grow too slow. So you just got to find that right balance for it.
And pop-ups are great. You know, you may market where you pop up in another side of town or something like that.
I love the idea of churches.
Yeah, that's so the
It's a
innovation
community
hub.
of churches.
The innovation hub that we have in Elgin, we opened it. I mean, we opened it right when COVID was ending. So we opened it. We kind of had a slow growth, and then we brought in a church. So we share half the building with the church, and other half is our building. So now the setup, we are of course growing, but it also helps us with keeping the rent down, with sharing the building with others.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm curious if you've thought about or even looked at different school districts in Columbia and see what nonprofits they partner with, because sometimes school districts can be hesitant to start a partnership with an organization because of budget constraints, but if they are already partnering with a nonprofit who's working with the student body, you could kind of pair with the nonprofit to come in together to get a partnership.
So we've had several such programs where we partner with nonprofit organizations, and then the kids from that other school districts would come in and do these programs. But for me, I of course want kids to learn. So those one-off programs, it's good for exposure, but if we don't continue them in that path where they are getting exposed to it every week, that one exposure may eventually fade away. So those one-off exposures, we've had many such contracts with nonprofits or even school districts who will do, like when they have some kind of funding available, and they will do one class a week, or one of the weekends they will do a class. I would like to see where it's a continuing education program where kids kind of build on that foundation that they built from the first class.
Gentleman in the orange. Yes.
With all the new technology changing every day, you, as far as your business, are you able to keep up with it, and how do you interact with AI?
Good question. So I used to think that I can keep up with technology. Not anymore. It's going crazy.
It is.
So yeah, so I'm always looking what is happening in the world, what in the field of technology, in the field of science. What is something new that is happening? So we have a newsletter that we run once a week. We send out article to all the parents who are signed up, where we talk about something new or something interesting that has happened in the world of technology or science. So a lot of research. I'm always kind of doing research to see what's happening. So I don't know if I can say that's how I'm able to keep up, but I'm kind of learning new things, what is happening, and think about what are the tools available to bring that concept to the kids, and then work with those tools and kind of test it out. If that's going to be worth it, if it's going to be fun enough for the kids to learn, if it's going to be impactful, and how we can kind of put in that into our puzzle to make it whole, where it's not a one-off thing which does not connect to other things that they're learning. So yeah, we are always researching. As far as the question about AI, any concept that we teach at the STEM lab, I don't want to teach it from that concept as an application. So everybody kind of has heard about ChatGPT, right?
Yes.
So when we talk about AI, I don't want kids to just learn how to use a ChatGPT. Anybody can learn that. I want kids to get to the core of the concept that's behind it. So in case of machine learning or AI, we want kids to learn about what the core idea is. So the core behind that is machine learning or neural networks. So we teach kids how they can, again, there are tools available, so we use those tools. So we work with IBM Watson, and we teach kids on how they can build machine learning models that are like text-based and image-based and sound-based models, where they can train these models with different images and text and create those models, and then use those models to create smart animations where, let's say, if you train the model to recognize your fingers, let's say, and you can then have an animation where the animation can track your fingers. So if you're moving your fingers, it knows which one is your index finger, which one's your thumb, which one, because you have trained the model into it. So for AI, that's where, for any concept, I don't want them to just learn the application. I want them to really get to the core of it. And same thing for AI. We want to get to the core of it and teach what's behind all of it. Because once they learn what's behind, what's the core of any concept, the application is easy to learn.
Have you connected in with the colleges? And the reason I'm asking is I just signed a permission slip. My grandson is in Richmond 1, and they go on a field trip to Allen University for STEM, some kind of STEM learning. So I thought that was very interesting. I didn't realize that they offered that.
So we haven't partnered with any colleges. I think some of the colleges already do this kind of STEM activity. We, in the past, kind of talked to Governor School of Science and Math to partner with them about offering, kind of having them come join, partner with us to offer their summer camps. But that hasn't happened. But no, we haven't already talked to a college. That's something that we can look into as well.
I got one that come to you. This might sound a little different. How do you define STEM?
How do, just like science and technology.
For what you guys are doing? You know, everybody's saying they're STEM. What to you, for you guys, what is STEM?
For us, so I know STEM is a hot word that kind of is being used a lot. And I've seen STEM being used where it's a children's book which talks about, we just talked about different professions, which is fine. For us, STEM is, like I was saying, it's not just about learning the applications. Anybody can learn applications. It's about the core concept behind whatever we are learning in that. So for me, science is, of course, chemistry, biology, all that stuff. For me, science is about kind of thinking differently. You get a problem. Think about how you can solve a problem. To solve a problem, you gotta observe what the problem is. You gotta think about the tools you have available. Think about what are the evidence related to that problem that somebody else has solved. Can we use those things? So science is about thinking differently. Technology is where everything from rocket engineering to artificial intelligence, machine learning. We want to make sure that kids are learning the concept, but in a fun way. There are many technology that I haven't figured out how to teach in a fun way. I would like kids to learn ethical hacking. Parents don't like it. but it's ethical. I want them to learn how computer networking works, but I haven't figured out a way to make it fun. It's very boring. If anybody's in computer networking, it's very boring for kids at least. So I haven't figured that out. So we want to make sure that anytime you're getting into any of these concepts, one, kids are thinking differently. We always tell kids, if you're at the STEM lab, ask a why. When I say something, I sometimes restrict the kids. I said something, okay, can you tell me why I said that? And sometimes they would not know that. And that's when I say, okay, always ask a why. We may not know the answer to your why, but we can look together to find the answer to a why.
I think, I'm gonna stop you real quick, because Jim had, but I think defining what STEM is for you guys, because I'm sitting here going, well, if my child is artistically bound or musically bound, does the STEM lab work for them? You know, I think it does, but it takes some explaining from you for me to get there. So if I already know a traditional definition of what STEM is, I like the idea that it's for curious folks, you know, or it's about curiosity. That changes how I would look at it as a parent. I've got one son who just loves to cook. Would he have fit into a STEM program? You know, or your STEM program,
Sure.
At the STEM lab. That's just a part of the communications you're going to have to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think they would. I think he would. But if in the traditional manner, there's no STEM for cooking.
Yes,
Well, it's
ma'am.
not
We taught 2,500 children in Richmond 5 for several months. We would go to the science lab and we taught cooking to STEM.
and
So
you,
we need
yeah,
science
but you know how rare that is.
Yeah, no, but we did.
So you can, anything, you can
Yes.
tie STEM to.
That's right.
Drawing, we do online, like we do animation, where they are doing digital art and doing animation using digital art. Cooking, I like cooking. And when I'm cooking, I'm always many years ago, I was thinking, why is that some of the things, when you have a pan with hot oil, why is some of the things you put in early, but some of the things you put in later? Right, so that's science, right?
Yeah.
Something cooks earlier because of whatever the water content in it, the thicker the skin is, versus something else that may not have that much water content, because if you leave it for too long, it may form.
I just want, and I'm just poking because I think that's the place that's perfect for you. I think that's a strong message. This young man, and then we'll have the final question.
Yeah, I had a question. So you had like kind of examples of core courses like machine learning and that sort of thing. Do you go about identifying those specific courses prior, filling up a classroom, and then backfilling with an instructor, or do you have instructors on deck and then tailor to kind of their expertise and what they can teach?
No, so we market our programs first. So whenever, let's say if we were to start enrolling kids for fall, we would kind of market the programs first, and we have the curriculum, so we train the instructors in those things. Again, I tell the instructors is we have the curriculum, but please do not follow it to the T. You're hired because you're a curious person. We want the instructors to use the curriculum as a guideline, but look at your audience, look at your kids, think about what they're interested in, how they can tie that concept to things that they experience, movies or video games or whatever they experience, how they can tie to that. So we do have curriculum that the instructors get trained.
So if you already have the curriculums in advance, then is that all from your knowledge and kind of your expertise, or how do you go about that prior to?
My expertise is all about just curiosity. That's all I am. So, internet has everything. So my curiosity just kind of takes me to the rabbit hole of the internet and trying to find sources on how we can put together from different sources things, learn from it, and kind of put it all together in a curriculum. So that's how I end up putting the curriculum together, just kind of learning as I go.
And Bob has got our last question.
What can 1 million cups do for you?
So 1 million cup can really help us increase our partnership with. There are several school districts we haven't been able to get into. So we would love for the 1 million community to kind of enable us or help us partner with more schools, local businesses for scholarships, different organizations that we can partner with. Of course, I have no business background. This is my first business. I was an engineer. I have no clue what I was doing. I still feel like I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm just, like many entrepreneurs say, that we are building the plane as we are flying it. So that's what I'm doing. So I would love for feedback. Any kind of feedback, strategic feedback, feedback in finance, how we can grow, what we can do. I'm always open to that. So that's what I would say.
All right.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you. We're going to put up the queue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody to stand for attendance and
Yeah, sorry about that this morning, folks. There was an accident right on the interchange of 20 and I-22. It's just a hot mess. So sorry about the discombobulation here this morning. Please scan the QR code and check yourself in. This is how we take attendance for our program every Wednesday. And we are a national program, and so we just like to let them know that here in Columbia we are alive and we are thriving. So please take the time to do that. If you're not already signed in with us, please create a sign-in portal and stay connected with us because we'd love to just have you here every single week. I'll let everybody get a second to do that, and then I just want 2 more quick announcements for everyone while I have your undivided attention. I'm gonna hijack. Here we go. So I don't know if any of you know about this. This was just brought to my attention a couple weeks ago. The Boyd Innovation Center, which is powered by GrowCo, if you want to pitch your business or you want to practice your pitch, this isn't the venue, but this is. And they have a pitch night tonight. If you go to their website, you can see all of their different activities. They have networking events, they have programs, and they are also, I think they might be more tech-based, but it's a great group to get into, and I will be there tonight checking this out for us. And but you get to go in there, give your 3-minute pitch, and it's a great way to practice that if you are going to be presenting it in front of a group of folks. So if anybody wants to take a picture of that or information on that, please do so.
they're located in 5 Points, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, the parking's kind of a pain in the
sucks,
neck.
but-
Yeah, so, but it's tonight between 5 and 7, and then they do this on the regular. So if you go to their website, you can find out how often that is done. This is another QR code for you to scan. We have 2 Facebook pages we'd like you to be members of. One is our national Facebook page, and this one is kind of our local homegrown Columbia Facebook page where we can get together. If you have questions, comments, if you want to share resources, you can do that on this page. We'd like to get some more engagement if we can with that. So take that into account. And then I just also want to pitch who's coming next. We got a couple of presenters coming up. So next week, Chris Arzu with Easy Plank is going to come and talk about a new product he's invented. And he already is an established entrepreneur. He has a fitness company over in the Lexington side, but he's invented something, and we're the first folks to get to hear about it. So I'm excited. Catherine's going to be coming after that with Energy Pathways. And then April 16th, please put it on your calendar. If you've been attending and you're curious about presenting, come to this presentation. Our very own Mr. Derek Walker, who is one of our coaching presentation coaches, will be presenting to you how to present at 1 Million Cups. So if you've been curious about doing it, please attend that presentation. And April 23rd, we're going to have Russell in here. He's a local publishing company. He's going to be talking about his business. And those are things I had to tell you folks about. So thank you. We'll see you all next week.
And hang out. We've got the room till 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Please try the coffee and pick the beans yourselves.
I was sitting in that traffic with you, so I live over in North Carolina, or Lake Carolina, in the Northeast, so, yes, same, yeah, so, sorry. How are you? I'm getting down here. Detail,
January being sick.
it's done.
Oh, yeah, I put some god awful.
At least, yeah, what part, what,
Even after getting some better, I had what's called OT bio.
yes, nice, I wear the gloves over right
If
by
I get up to go to the bathroom, I have to sleep
Yes.
hours to overcome the exhaustion.
Yes.
Well, and also, when I was sick, I didn't eat, so I lost like 15 pounds in 15 days, and so it was just a whole bunch of stuff. And then my stomach stopped working because I didn't eat, and by the time I realized that, nothing was coming out, I was laying to the hill, so I had obstruction issues. That was just bad. It was not easy being sick when you're old, and I don't get sick
Not gonna move us yet, but yeah,
same,
same,
like
same.
everyone I talk to my age.
But thank you, this come out is awesome.
One of my girlfriends, she was just gonna throw her husband into an ambulance and take him to the hospital, but she didn't know what else to do.
Enough about the traffic, so.
It was pretty rough, yeah. Columbia has the highest number of cases in the whole country, and I swear I got them all sick. You know, when you look at the CBD story, and I swear I got sick from, you know, I got sick and I got better. In fact, I worked when I first got in, this guy walked in, and it was crazy, and I've been coming down with something for 3 years. Yeah, that was it. I freaked. And when he came to the register, I wouldn't take his money out. I couldn't take that plastic and hardly himself because, and sure enough, right after that, I said, you know what? I swear I got it again. So what about you? What's happening in the
But now, what usually do part of any of the local?